Live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first inaugural or the annual episode of Russo After Dark. I'm your host, Russo, one half of the great RNG show. As you can tell, we had our separate content going out this week with Trey doing Catching Up with Coach and our normal show on Thursdays. And we figured I'd give a little betting preview before we get into the weekend on Fridays. So we will get into it. We're not going to waste anyone's time. It's a very short episode this week just because we just don't have a lot of games to go off to. So, what we'll do is the theme of this show will be threefold. One, we're going to have a ongoing ladder challenge. We're going to really structure it to be where you're retaining money doing that. So my thought process is we're going to do plus 300 bets, try and be in that realm if we can. And you can start with whatever unit or wager you want. We don't unit shame here. And we try and land on around a plus 300 bet. Sometimes we'll use a profit boost to get there. But for the most part, we're going to try and land on that. It's tough this week because we have to use every single game. There's only 5. So going to be a challenging week. But if we bet for, say, $10 on a plus 300, you will profit, $30. And you'll come home with a total of 40. What we want to do is only roll over the profit. And that way you're pocketing the stake that you're making. So if you continue to go along, 10 to 40, pocket 10, bet 30, profit 90, pocket to 30, bet 90, you're pocketing money every so often. So if we can climb and win a couple of weeks, we'll be profitable regardless. And it takes a little bit of pressure off of us having to wager a bunch of money because the typical ladder challenge is all or nothing. Shout out to Imagine. Can't wait to climb, dude. I'm excited. This week is tough because you've got to find one, we're parlaying, right? We're doing it the parlay route. And 2, you've got to find some chalky picks. And it's, this week and next week, you're not going off of a lot here. Usually it's a little bit easier in the middle of the season because you have a bunch of data. You have the current teams, you have film, you have stats, you have trends, you have all of that. It is very tough starting off here, especially when you only have 5 games. So that is the first fold. We're going to ride that ladder challenge. We're going to do hopefully 1 every week. Depending on the slates, we might do 2. I will post that, or I will share the bet here shortly for that. 2, we're going to do a little fun against the spread challenge the entire year. We'll do top 25 games, and we will keep track of my record and see how we perform. We'll try and break down, where the public money is, where is the best bet and such. We only have 1 game this week. I think that fits that mold, so we will we'll continue to do that. And we'll just find any kind of bets that, make the card. I don't discriminate against player props, although in Louisiana they did ban college props, so might have to journey offshore for that. But, I know if you're watching from wherever you're watching, whether it be a state like Texas that does have prize picks, you can bet on player props there. You can always access an offshore account like Bet Online or Bovada or MyBookie. Whatever it may be. So we don't discriminate. We'll find bets, maybe on a FCS game or, a game that doesn't really hit the traffic as far as meaning. But we will definitely, as a degenerate, find ways to win. So that is the threefold. We will start. Let me see if we can get this shared. So we can just start with the 5 games because I feel like we have a lot to break down with these 5, and we have to use all of them. So I'll just kind of go through each of them. I think the most meaningful game this week that everyone's going to be paying attention to is 11 a.m. In Dublin, Iowa State, Kansas State. The spread opened around 3.5. With the favorite being Kansas State. 60% of the bets are on Kansas State, and 59% of the money is on there. So pretty consistent across the board here as far as where the public is, where the sharps probably are. I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't seen one person pick Iowa State in this game, which scares me because it's like when you get a lot of, I mean, this suggests otherwise, right? Because it's only 60-40 and 59-41. But if you go look at like people break down their recaps and predictions of week 0, I have not seen one person pick Iowa State. So I'm nervous about that. Where I am comfortable as far as picking the top 25 spread here, I'm actually leaning plus 3.5 for Iowa State. I only say that because I think this game is going to be super close. Something about like 24-21 sticks out to me for Kansas State. Something along the lines of 27-24. We're going to see it somewhere in that 20 range where I think it's going to come down to a field goal. And like I said, we're not going to always align with what I choose to pick for the ladder for say, because my ladder pick is actually a Kansas State juiced line. But for the sake of the top 25 picks, we are going to go with Iowa State plus 3.5. That is going to be the lock for the contest. We're going to keep up with see how we do. Obviously, it's not going to be like a unit thing. We'll just keep up with our record, and some weeks we'll be very busy. So I'm leaning towards Iowa State. I just think, obviously, Kansas State probably has more talent on both sides of the ball. Iowa State did lose both of their star receivers last year to the NFL. So I think this really comes down to, can Iowa State hold up for their quarterback to get rid of the ball? I think Kansas State's D-line is going to be sick. I think Avery Johnson's going to do a much better job of controlling the game compared to last year, because last year, if you remember, Iowa State, I believe, won by a touchdown, and it was really only because Kansas State had 2 really bad turnovers, especially at the beginning of the game where Avery Johnson turned the ball over. So I really do think Kansas State is going to win the game, but with the field goal and the hook, give me Iowa State here. I think it's just going to be a super, super close game. Dude, Dre Goodwin, safest bet this week, and anything Russo says. I mean, look, dude, we're trying. I'm very nervous this week. I'm not going to lie, because like there are a lot of 50-50 games, and if you look at just the slate here, right, someone's going to eat shit. Right, like it's not just going to go like smooth. It's not going to be Kansas State, UNLV, Kansas, Western Kentucky. And I mean, this game's going to be tough either way. But like these 4 games, someone's going to eat shit, and you really have to figure out who that's going to be. Personally, I think it's Kansas. We can hop to this game real quick. I think this game is dangerous. Because this game has the variance of Kansas can go out there and put up a 50-piece and just dominate the game and win by 4 touchdowns. Or you could see it just a super tight game come down to the end. Like, you just never know. I think Kansas is returning Jalen Daniels, who is sort of in the similar spot of Avery Johnson, has a lot of great intangibles, but is just made a lot of mistakes last year, and can he keep up with that consistency? Obviously, on the Fresno side, you have Kurt Warner's son starting at quarterback there. Everyone raves about him and EJ and how he could potentially lead this team to maybe a bowl. I don't know. Like Fresno's goals are, in my opinion, it's probably we're just going to start with a bowl game, right? Because like you got to win 6 games to get there. And I just don't think Fresno has any sights of, unless they're trying to go to a particular bowl. But I think that's the trap game. Someone's got to eat it. And my prediction is Kansas. I think this game's going to be super close. I think it's going to be 1 possession. I don't know. I think this one, someone's got to eat shit, man. And to me, it's like I get nervous because if you're wrong, then the ladder crumbles potentially, And we don't want to do that in week 0. So that's just my prediction. I think I think Kansas wins the game. If you want my prediction, I mean, if you look at, we're looking at 66% of the bets are on Kansas. I think this could be the parlay killer, though. Like, I could easily see Fresno like kicking a game-winning field goal and just busting everyone's parlays. I can also potentially see that in Sam Houston and Western Kentucky. This game's going to be tight too. I think Sam Houston shocked a lot of people last year, but here's Trey going. Someone will, but it won't be the fellas. I appreciate Trey being in here. I think us supporting each other in our individual journeys here is always fun, and he's getting the best from me. So like we win and lose together, obviously. So hopefully we get some dubs going our way. But I think you'll see maybe a low-scoring affair in the Sam Houston game. I think Sam Houston was one of like the top 20 defenses in the country last year, I believe. I think they lost a lot of people. I think they lost their coach to Temple. I think I could be wrong on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But obviously, Western Kentucky, when you think of Western Kentucky, you think of they've always producing NFL quarterbacks. I mean, I can think of 3 or 4 just over the last decade that have at least been very productive bench, like backups and / had playing time. So when you think of Western Kentucky, you think of air raid, you think of just screw running the ball. We're going to pass the ball a lot. With Sam Houston losing a bunch of people from their defense, this leaves the door open for me to think Western Kentucky is just going to be too much for them. I think the number is right. I think it's going to be about a touchdown and a half, So I think with that being said, I think Western Kentucky wins the game. I'm not going to advise one way or the other here just because if it gun to my head, I'm probably taking Western Kentucky. I trust them more. I think they have the offense, and I don't know if Sam Houston can keep up with it. I think their defense will do enough to keep up with it. But yeah, that you'll see in our ladder challenge shortly. I've got Western Kentucky money line here, so very chalky. Obviously, that's going to happen. We have 5 picks here, so we're going to have to use some chalk somewhere. Stanford, Hawaii, and the 6:30 slate is going to probably be the most watched game between the two here. I have no idea about this game. Obviously, you look at it and you're like, Stanford, why is Stanford the underdog? Just the historic program that, you just look at the two programs and like, how is Stanford the underdog here? Andrew Luck is coming in as his first year as GM. Dude's one of the smartest, not players, but just people ever. And I'm interested to see what he brings. Like I said, I think it's an interesting call to bring him in at GM. Does it help them this year? I don't know. I think they've got Frank Reich over there as their coach, and I think they have the roster to win this game. But man, this line opened up at -1.5, and it's all the way to +2.5 now. Here we are. Sam Houston bombed a great parlay for me last year. I can't bet. Yeah, man. Look, Sam Houston can do it one way or the other. They can be the parlay ruiner, or they can help you. They're just one of those teams that I think a lot of people rode last year because they were just consistently good. And then did they finish 9-3 or was it 10-2? I have to go back and double check that. But I know they were so good that they lost their coach. They lost a lot of people to bigger schools and such. But yeah, the Stanford Hawaii game, man, it's going to be fun. It'll probably be like the game I look the most forward to, if you want my honest opinion, just because I just think there's a lot of opportunities. It's going to be the last game of the day, right? So you're going to be probably reeling if nothing goes right in the first couple of games. And it's just like, man, Stanford, the offenses are just too different. I mean, I think if you're on the Stanford side, you really just want to hope you control the offense, you run the ball, and control the tempo of the game. And I think Hawaii, you're kind of the opposite. You're going through the air, you're trying to score at will. So it's a battle of the brands. And if Stanford gets up early, I could just see this either going way over the total with Hawaii just going back and forth, or Stanford just running away with this. I'm on the Stanford side here. Um, I I think they can possibly win this game by a touchdown if you want the truth. I'm buying into Andrew Luck. I'm buying into Frank Reich. I'm buying into this Stanford team against the Hawaii team that, they'll have to prove it. They'll have to prove it to me. So like I'm really buying the name here on that. So that is where we are at with our games here. Idaho UNLV. Obviously, I believe Dan Mullen is the coach over at UNLV now. He is, probably going to beat the shit out of Idaho State. I mean, what else can I say? Look at this. Look, the game opened at 21.5 for UNLV, and now it's at 30.5. It's just like they probably go in and do the damn thing, but buy it down. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on that game. I think they'll probably go up there and score probably 49 or 50 points. So if you want to lean in that direction, that's kind of where I am. So yeah. Otherwise, we've got Iowa State plus 3.5 on the top 25. The betting card is just going to be the ladder challenge, and I'm going to get that up for you guys shortly. Let's see here. See if we can get this. Oh no, I got logged out. I had my bet up here. Here we go. Okay. Hopefully you fellas can see this, but this makes it a little bit easier. I'll try and zoom in for you guys. Oh, goodness. Okay. So FanDuel has a 50% boost. Obviously, choose to use it for whatever you want. I think they also have several boosts. Like this isn't the only boost they have. But we're starting with the Kansas State game. We're leaning towards an all spread of Kansas State plus 3.5. So look, we have a little range here. We just need this game to be close. We don't. I mean, if it's going to be a blowout, we hope it's for Kansas State because our money is physically on them. But to win both my prediction for the top 25 and the ladder challenge, we hope this game stays close. So Kansas State plus 3.5, you get it minus 194. I didn't feel inclined to go more than that. I think Kansas State's the better team. I just think, if they lose by 4, I'm going to be pissed because the difference between the two was 50 in odds. So it really wasn't going to make a huge difference. I'm taking the UNLV alternate total, the team total of over 40.5. And, I'm just going through combos in my head of how we get here. And like I said, I think this team scores upwards of 49 to 50 points. If you really want to break it down, obviously, if you're looking at it from a perfect perspective and teams not going for 2 or missing PATs, 5 touchdowns gets you 35 points. So 5 touchdowns and 2 field goals is 41. I'm hoping we get there, right? I hope that's enough leeway. 5 touchdowns, you probably get three hopefully early in the first half with the starters in, hopefully 4, and then we can ride out and hopefully crush this number in the second half. But minus 302 for that game. 3, we're looking at Fresno. I'm telling you, man, Fresno, I think is the team that's going to play shocker this week. Someone's got to, and I've got them to score 2 touchdowns against Kansas. I feel pretty good about it. I think this is twofold. If the game is competitive, they're going to score 2 touchdowns. I just don't see Kansas offense struggling that much. So if it's a competitive game, I think I think Fresno State's going to be in it, and they're going to be over 2 touchdowns. If it's not, and Kansas ends up boat racing them, at least we'll be throwing the ball more and trying to score. So, like, I could easily see this going to like third, like they go for 2, and at the end of the game they have 7 and screw us. Hopefully we don't come back to bite us there, but give me 2 touchdowns there for Fresno State at -215. The Western Kentucky money line here, -287, just straight up. Hopefully they're not going to kill the parlay here, and we're going to end with Stanford over 16.5 points. I just think Stanford is the side here. I could easily be wrong if the game stays close. I mean, if they just don't score 2 touchdowns in the field goal, I mean, what are we doing here? That's just my thought of it. It's completely a bet on the name, which, everyone has their rhymes and reasons, but this is where I'm winning, and this is the parlay. So $10 with the boost. I think we landed on +283. It's not going to be around 300 every time, but on these early stages, we can definitely get these boosts in here. So $10 wins 52. Fingers crossed, man. If we win this, we would basically roll over, I believe, 42, 48 to the next bet and pocket 10. So we'll be up. It'll be house money technically at that point if we win this. And then we go into a week 1 slate where there's an abundance of games. And now we've got to go kind of over the same thing where it's like we're going kind of blind, but we just have a bunch more options. So that is the ladder challenge. That's the card. I mean, there's nothing really other than that. I mean, I might find a spot or 2 with player props on offshore. If anyone's interested in that, be my guest. Let me know. I'll maybe find a spot or 2 there. However, that's the card. We're very excited to wake up tomorrow at 11 a.m. and we're gonna have football. Like this is the off season that someone like me is, as a generate, like all we had is baseball for these last couple of months, which, nothing against baseball. It's just like, it's not as exciting. So, before we close out the show, I do want to say I did put in a referral link for anyone that's new and might not have signed up for a sports book called Fanatics. I put a referral code in there. If you want to sign up and you sign up through the link, you wager $10 on a game, and when the game settles, both me and yourself get $50 in bonus money. So figured I'd put that referral code in there for anyone that's new, and it's in the description. So I do appreciate everyone tuning in, Trey Goodwin and Imagine29, for posting y'all's comments. Right at about 24 minutes, we're gonna probably have short and sweet episodes this season, man. But let's pray for the ladder challenge tomorrow. Pay attention to the socials, and then catching up with Coach on Monday to recap week 0 and prepare us for a big Saturday night with Clemson and LSU. So see you guys later.